face before. So we decided to do sort of we started with a Reader's Theater rendition of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and then Charlotte and Sarah decided that they wanted to do something different, so they cast different people in different roles. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole, no, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm so glad I know the title.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. And please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right.
It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight.
But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's. Staring down from his cave with a sour Grinchy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town, for here every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush through their toys and then...
Oh, the noise! The noise! The noise!
The one thing you hated!
Noise!
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 Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast.
And they feast!
And they feast! And they feast! Feast! Feast!
Feast!
They'd feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef.
Which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
And then they'd do something he liked least of all.
Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing!
And they'd sing! And they'd sing!
And they'd sing! Sing!
Sing! Sing!
The more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought.
I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea.
An awful idea.
The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea!
I know just what to do.
The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and clapped.
What a great Grinchy trick. Why, with this coat and this hat, I look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found.
Did that stop the old Grinch?
No.
The Grinch simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max.
And he got some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
Then he loaded some bags.
and some old empty sacks.
On a ramshackle sleigh.
And he hitched up old Max.
Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up.
Mr. Grinch, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. We are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as a eel, Mr. Grinch. You're the bad banana with a greasy black beard. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I would touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. You're a nasty, rasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch.
The 3 words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote: stink, stank, stunk. You're just too bad, Mr. Grinch.
And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town.
All the windows were dark, white snow filled the air.
all the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care.
When he came to the first little house on the square.
This is stop number 1.
The old Grinchy Claus hissed,
And he climbed up the roof, empty bags
in his face. And he slid down the chimney a rather tight pinch.
But if Santa could do
Then
it, so could the Grinch.
He got stuck only once for a moment or two.
Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue where all the Who stockings all hung in a row.
These
He
stockings
grinned.
are the first things to go.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant.
Around the whole room, and he took every present.
Pop guns! Bicycles!
Roller skates.
Drums!
Checkerboard.
Tricycles! Popcorn! Plums!
And he stuffed them in bags.
Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the presents one by one up the chimbley.
Then he slunk to the icebox.
He took the Who's feast.
He took the Who pudding.
He took the roast beast.
He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash.
Why, that old Grinch even took our last can of Who hash.
Then he shoved all the food up the chimney with glee.
And now,
Grinned the Grinch.
I will stuff up the tree.
So the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove.
When he heard the small sound like the coo of a dove.
He turned around fast and he saw a small Who.
Little Cindy Lou Who has nowhere to.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water.
She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie.
He thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little
The
tot,
fake Santa Claus lied.
there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child.
Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed.
And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up.
And the last thing he took was the log from their fire.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire.
And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb. It was even too small for a mouse.
Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses.
Leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was 15:15.
All the Who's still abed.
All the Who's still snooze.
When he packed up his sled,
Packed it up with their presents.
The ribbon. The wrapping.
The
Tags.
tinsel.
The trappings.
3,000 feet up,
Up the side of Mount Crockett.
he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it.
Pooh-poo the Who's.
He was graciously humming.
They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two, then all the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise
Grinch a Grinch.
that I simply must hear.
So he paused, and Grinch put a hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow.
It started in low.
Then it started to grow.
But the sound wasn't sad. The sound sounded merry.
it couldn't be so.
But it was merry. Merry.
He stared down at Whoville.
The Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook.
What he saw was a shocking surprise.
Every Who down in Whoville, the Tom Small was singing.
Without any presents at all.
They hadn't no Christmas were coming, it came.
Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow.
Stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? Came without ribbons, came without tags, came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore.
Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas
He thought,
doesn't come from store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
and what happened then? Well, they say in Whoville, the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
And the moment his heart was quite so tight, he whizzed with his load to the bright morning light.
And he brought back the toys.
And the food for the feast. And he himself.
The Grinch carved the roast beast.